Welcome back. Let's check in with Macy Marigi for a look at what's coming up in our next half hour and Closer Look. Hi, Macy.
Hey, Robert. Kendall Jones, the Texas Tech cheerleader who made headlines for her photos of trophy exotic animals she hunted, is still receiving death threats online every day. Threats that some say is nothing more than online bullying. After the break, we'll talk to an etiquette expert who weighs in on the best way to handle cyber punks. That and more coming up on the Closer Look. Robert?
Macy, thanks.
You may recognize the name Kendall Jones. She's a Texas Tech cheerleader who has been making headlines, not because of her incredible tumbling skills, but her great aim. Recently, photos of Jones holding her exotic animal victims surfaced on Facebook. Jones became the target herself of constant death threats. Joining us now live via Skype is etiquette expert Colleen Rickenbacher. Colleen, thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So, Colleen, you have a different philosophy about how to deal with bullies. What is your advice to people who are approached by bullies?
Well, the first thing I think you need to do is make sure you gather all the facts. In this case with Kendall, I've been reading it and researching it, and in one page you'll see where she's a conservationist and she's doing this for the economy. The next page you're reading where everybody wants to kill her for what she's doing. And yes, she's promoting herself very, very, very well to get a reality show and everything else out there. But still, the facts are so mixed. You know, if you're reading this, you have no idea, is she doing everything legal or she's not. But still, the bottom line is a lot of people are just jumping on the bandwagon, for a lot of different people, not just her, but they crucify people before they get all the facts. And her case, we're not quite sure. But still, in any case with a bullying, before you get on there and you start hurting people, which, as we know, leads to a lot of problems, get the facts straight. And just make sure, for a child, for a teenager, for an adult, make sure you know all the details.
Now, if you were in Kendall Jones's shoes, how would you respond to these death threats? Or would you at all?
Well, in my case, some people just let them go, let them lie low, and then hopefully that'll go away. But in her case, she's responding quite, quickly, and in her defense, she's going back and saying what she feels is right. And there's hundreds of thousands of people responding back to her. Some of them are saying, go for it, go and do what you feel is right because she feels she's illegal. And other people are just saying she's, going too much to the extreme and saying things that she shouldn't be saying. So it's kind of a tough call because I've been reading over and over, and you get one defensor that's saying she's right. And, it's hard to find things that, someone's saying she's killed this, and she's saying, no, I'm not. I just put it to sleep so we could take it and get a drug so we could make it better. And then next picture you see that she's, standing there with a gun. So it's hard to tell. But in her case, now you see a lot of pictures where there's no animals and she's just standing there with a gun.
And I've seen that as well. I was looking at her Facebook page today. Now, many young adults have access to social media these days, and this can really make them vulnerable to bullying. And in extreme cases like Kendall Jones's, it can even get to the point where their lives are threatened. So, I mean, social media in terms of bullying, gone are the days where someone's, trying to beat you up for lunch money. How has this changed, the way we approach bullying situations?
It's unfortunately very sad because even best friends are turning against best friends because all of a sudden, to kind of be in the crowd, to be cool, just to go along with everybody, you jump on it and you do it. And if you see it, if you see somebody doing this against somebody else, especially if you're in school, elementary school, junior, and it starts as young, it's kindergarten. Go to someone in your church, go to someone in your school, go to an elderly person, an older person, and just tell them. Hopefully they haven't, they will go and report it and tell somebody else. There's so many more precautions now, even a year later from last year, so many different things that are out there now that can help people. And they'll never say who told them. There's so many different ways now. But you're right. People have committed suicide. Young people have done that just because too much pressure on them, and they feel that everybody's turning against them.
Very sad situation.
Yeah.
Well, Colleen, that's all the time we have for you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Coming up on the CBS 7 News at 6, a small West Texas town is trying to rid itself of a friendly puppet in hopes of building more community pride. Tonight at 6, see how Kermit the Frog is no longer welcome. And just after the break here on Closer Look, even if you've been in the oil and gas industry for decades, there's always more to learn. We caught up with the organizer of an event